Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna work on a bangle using Pro technique. I haven't really explained you Pro before, but if you've been following, you know I like working with CRAW, Cubic Right Angle Weave, and they have a lot of different designs going on with it, and they have a lot of more coming up. And CRAW is actually a type of Pro. When you work with right angle weave and try to create a 3D design with the right angle weave, it turns into prismatic right angle weave. Cubic right angle weave, we always, start with building 4 walls and then connecting the ceiling, again building 4 walls. That's why it's called cubic right angle weave. But anything else, starting with 3 walls, 4 walls, 5 walls, 6 walls, 7 walls, you can make it as much as you want. It's called prismatic right angle weave. So you can build prismatic right angle weave with actually only 3 walls, building the base of 3 beads. But today I'm gonna work with 6 walls, so we will be building the base of 6 beads. So it's a very easy stitch once you understand how it actually works. It's very mathematical. It's a, if you're good with geometry, it comes easy, this stage. So it's all about math, counting, number of walls and all that. So today we're gonna work on this bangle, which has 6 walls. So the more walls you have, the more circular shape it will take. It looks like circular, but when you hold it, you can feel the bridges. It has like, you can feel the sides of walls. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Now this is done with 11 O's, but for the purpose of demonstration, I wanted to do with 8 O's, and this is check beads. I've never worked with check beads before, and this is going to be my first time. It's just my local bead shop had a sale on them, and then I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. But I've been always working with Tohos and Delicates, and I'm not sure I'm gonna like it, but I wanted to give it a go. And I'm just loving the color, because I don't really buy these colors in Toho because they're gonna be extremely expensive. So let's see how it goes. So I'm gonna be using this one color, check 8 O's, and then you'll need thread. I'm gonna be using Nymo size D. You can use any other thread you have. I mean, you guys asked me if I can use that. I'm just comfortable working with Nymo, so if you have any other thread, you can use those. And then I'm gonna be using needle size 10, a pick to start off, and the scissors to cut the thread. So I'm gonna try to do something new here. I'm gonna thread my needle with 4 yards. I'm not completely sure if it's gonna be enough for the bangle because it's been ages since I've done this. So, but I'm gonna take 4 yards, and then I'm gonna explain you how I'm gonna take it from there. So I thread my needle with 4 yards. I have my beads ready. I have my pick ready. And you probably already know that I like working with only 2 yards. So what I did here, I took 4 yards, and I'm gonna explain you why. First, we're gonna take 6 beads. Since we are working with Pro with 6 walls, it starts with 6 beads of base. So I'm gonna pick up 6 8 O's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 beads, and I'm gonna take it to the middle of my thread, so I will have 2 yards on each side. So just make sure you get it to the middle. It will be out of camera, so I'm just gonna hold both ends together and just take my thread to the middle. That's the middle of my thread. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna tie 2 overhand knots right here. So I'll just have to pull a lot of thread through, and 1 more knot over on top of that. So what I did here, I'm gonna leave a tail of 2 yards. I'm gonna continue working with one side of 2 yards, and once I finish that, I can just continue flipping over with the other 2 yards I have left on as a tail. So that's how I took 4 yards, and I still get to work with my comfortable 2 yards length. I'm not completely sure it's still gonna be enough, so you might need longer. So if you don't know how to add more thread, I will leave a link to a short video in the description of this video, where I show you how to add thread to cubic right angle weave. It's exactly the same procedure. Cubic right angle weave is also part of type of Pro, so it's the same thing. It just has less walls than this one. So I have 6 beads. I'm gonna zoom in from here. I'm gonna set this on my pick. Then I'm gonna take my needle here. And what I'm gonna do, my thread is stuck between two beads here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it through the first one. I'm gonna pick up 3 11-ohs, 3 8-ohs. We're working with 8-ohs only. I'm gonna take it through the same bead my thread's coming out of and pull the thread. So that's first wall. I'm gonna take my needle through the second bead of the floor. And then we're gonna build the second wall here. I'm gonna pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the first wall and straight through the floor bead where my thread's coming out of, and pull the thread. Now I have 2 walls. I'm gonna go through the third bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the fourth bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the fifth bead of the floor, pull my thread, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Now I'm gonna go through the last 6 bead of the floor, go up the side of the first wall, pick up 1 bead, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Then go up the side and connect the ceiling by connecting all those 6 beads at the top. And now we have first Pro unit. Beautiful color, isn't it? If you noticed, I'm not culling the beads. Some of them are thicker, some of them are smaller. I really don't like culling unless the beads are really deformed, so let's just see how it goes then. So we're gonna build another Pro unit on top of this, the same way we did the first one. I'm gonna pick up 3 beads, go through the same bead my thread's coming out of. Go through the second bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the third bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the fourth bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the fifth bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Then I'm gonna go through the last bead of the floor and straight up the side of the first wall. Then I'm gonna pick up 1 bead, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Then I'm gonna go up and connect the ceiling by connecting all those 6 beads at the top. And here you have 2 Pro units. It looks just like cross. See the units? They're square. They look just like part of the cross. It's just, instead of having 4 walls, it has 6 walls. From top you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gorgeous, isn't it? I'm gonna show you how to do it one more time. If you still don't understand, just rewind. Every single unit builds the same way. So every time you connect the ceiling, the ceiling is the base of the next pro unit. So I'm gonna pick up 3 beads, go through the same bead my thread's coming out of, go through the second bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the third bead of the floor, pick up 2 11 O's, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Well, 8 O's. Go through the fourth bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Go through the fifth bead of the floor, pick up 2 beads, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Now go through the last bead of the floor and straight up the side of the first wall. Pick up 1 bead, go down the side of the last wall and straight through the floor bead. Then go up and connect the ceiling by going through all those 6 beads at the top. And we have 3 Pro units. Gorgeous. So you continue like this all the way until you have your required length. Now that you have several units, you can just take it off the pick and hold in your hands and just continue. Now you just finish off this side. Once you have a small tail, just sew it in, get rid of the tail and start off the next side. See, you have the base here as well. So you just start building Pro unit on this side with your other 2 yards of thread. If you still have to add more thread, go have a look at the tutorial I left in the link in the description box if you don't know how to add thread. If you know, then you just do it yourself. So once I have the full length to go around my wrist, this bangle, see how it goes? This is the thickest part of your wrist, so it has to be able to go there. So make sure you have the full length of the bangle to go around. And then I'm going to see you here and I'm going to show you how to connect it. So I'll see you in a bit. So I finished the full length and now it's time to close it into a circle. Now I hope you got your full length, how you measure it. You put it around your thickest part of your wrist. This is the thickest part. And then you try to bring 2 ends together. Mine is almost there. Now I'm gonna connect it, and while you connect Pro, just like in Crow, you sort of creating another unit. So to connect it, even though Pro looks very circular, it's not. It has ridges, so it might get twisted. Like if you twist it like this and then connect it, it might be twisted. I don't like that. I like it to be straight. So what I do, I put my finger on top and just, you know, go along the bracelet and you can feel the reach. So you straighten it up. Like if it's twisted like that, when you go with your finger, you can see the ridges, but if you put it straight and go along with your finger, you can straighten it up and you just have one side of pro looking upwards. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna take the side where my thread's coming out of to the top. So that's the bead. And I'm just gonna straighten it up to this side. And to connect it, see where my thread's coming out of? I'm gonna take one bead. I'm gonna go on the other side, see this end? I'm gonna take my needle there. So that's where my thread's coming out of upwards. I'm gonna go the opposite one downwards. And pull my thread. And before I finish it, I'm gonna pick up one more bead and go backwards to the same bead my thread's coming out of. Just gonna pull it nice and tight and go through the same bead. And now here, I can just pull my thread. And we sort of created a unit there. See, right angle weave unit. One side is connected. So what I'm gonna do now here, my thread's coming here. I'm gonna take it to the next bead. And now here, I think I can zoom in a bit. I'm gonna pick up one bead. I'm gonna go through the opposite one. See? This is the opposite one here. And pull my thread. And when I pull it, I wanna go through this bead here, through the side of the first unit we created, and straight back through the same bead I initially went through. And you pull your thread, save 2 right angle weave units. Then I'm gonna go through the third bead here, pull my thread, pick up one bead, go through the opposite bead, which is this one. You can easily tell it's next bead after the one you already connected. So I'm gonna go through this bead here, pull my thread. I'm gonna go through the side of the last unit and straight up through the first bead. And that's 3 sides connected. And our pro has 6 sides, so we just continue that. I'm gonna go through the next bead here. Pull my thread nice and tight, pick up one bead, go through the opposite one. Pull my thread, go through the side of the previous unit and straight up through the first bead. Then turn it over. Then go through the next bead. So that's the 5th unit we are building. Pick up one bead, go down, go through opposite bead. Then I'm gonna go up the side of the previous unit and straight through the first bead. And now that we connected the 5 units, the last one we don't add any beads because all the beads are in place. We just have to connect them between each other. Go through this bead here, go down the side of the first unit we created and straight through the opposite bead and back through here and through the first bead. And it's connected. Look, you can't even tell. And all I do now is just get rid of the tail. I'm gonna go down here, let's say here, and if I can, I'll just go straight through the next bead here. Make my first knot here. Go down this way, go through this bead here. Make my second knot. And then go through this bit here. Go upwards. Make my third knot here. And just take away my thread away from that last knot so we don't give it a chance to come undone. And then here I can just go in a circle a bit. And then here I can just take my scissors and cut the thread at the very base. And our bangle is ready. Gorgeous colors. Look, easy peasy. Then take the second one. See how the difference is? This one's 11.0, this one's 8.0. So I'm gonna leave the quantities for 8.0. Unfortunately, I don't remember how much I used here, but it will be less than 8.0 because the beads are smaller, way less, and so on. But if you're using bigger beads, you'll have to use more. Like this one is 8.0. As long as you're using same size beads, you can create with any size beads here. You can use 6.0s, you can use 3.0s, but you have to remember that bigger the beads, thicker your bangle is going to be. So now remember we started with 4 yards. I had to add 2 more yards, but then I ended up with a long tail. So I think I used approximately 5.5 yards here. So I could have started with 6 yards straight away and leave 3 yards to one side and work with 3 yards. But then I would feel really uncomfortable, so I just preferred to add extra. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. I hope you learned something new. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do Pro faster. So if you want, if you mastered the stitch and you want to learn how to make it faster, because this stitch takes quite a long time, you can check out the next tutorial. So I will leave in the description box the quantities I used. I'm not going to leave any codes because I don't know the code for this bead, because I just bought it in a sale and they didn't have any codes or even colors. So it's some sort of rose gold type of, even bronze, I'm not sure. This is my first time using check beads, so I'm not really familiar with their coding and stuff, but usually when I use Tohos I leave codes. So that's the end of the tutorial, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.